Hey everybody, of course we get set up here, so just give me a second. Alrighty. I'm getting quicker at this though. I do believe. Okay, so hello everybody. Hopefully you had a good Tuesday and most of Wednesday. We're going to be focusing on doing Thursday and Friday's general readings first, and then after that, well, then we can do some general or some personal readings if that's kind of where this goes. So let's get started here. I'm just making sure I got everything. I can be a bit forgetful, but I think we have everything we need. So let's get this started here. Hey Elizabeth, how are you doing? Are you out of the hospital? Or are you feeling better? I should ask. Just making sure these are all good here. Good, good. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Adjusting to my new my antidepressant medication, and that's been going pretty well actually. Some mood swings here and there, but all in all, it's been going pretty good. Went for a walk not too long ago. Got some flowers. Me and my girlfriend are gonna start doing, how do you pronounce it? Gouache painting? Gouache painting. It's like a different way of painting, I guess. We're gonna be taking a class and gonna be doing that. So we were collecting things for inspiration. We found a bunch of beautiful flowers. Yeah, switching yeah, I agree with that. I haven't switched meds yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna have to do some fine tuning here. I'm just seeing how well, because I've been on it for two weeks on Monday, so yeah, I feel like it's been helping. I think, yeah, gout, yes. So we're gonna be trying that out, and it looks fun. It looks really fun. We were just finding some inspiration. We got some flowers. We have some beautiful flowers. And maybe we stole a little here and there, a little flower here and there. But, yeah, I think that's going to be really fun. Should have stuff arriving from Amazon on Friday, so we'll have to see. But it sounds like you've heard of it before. I had no idea. I had no idea what she was talking about at first. But then I looked at it and it's really cool. I think we will. I definitely think we will. When do you get out of the hospital? When are you kind of released and can integrate with society again? It's been a while and things have changed, and so I'm curious. Okay, watercolor and acrylic combined. Okay, that makes sense. It does seem more gel-like, and so I think it'll be fun to paint with. Oh, that's good water. Okay. Let's get to shuffling here, and let's put our cards down. Oh. Can't leave until I can function without an oxygen tank. Man, that must have really got you. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you feel like your lungs are getting stronger though? Do you feel like you're able to breathe a little bit better? Hopefully every day you get a little bit better. is up in the air. That's a good pun. That's a good pun. It really is up in the air, isn't it? It's kind of, oh, that's good. But in all seriousness, I do hope that very soon, maybe before the weekend, you can get out of there. Hopefully it's at least a nice hospital that you're staying in. Okay, so let's do these ones here, and we'll do, let's see, it's Wednesday, so we'll do Thursday, and then we'll do Friday, but we'll start with Thursday. Okay. I think so. I was already kind of at a loss since I have underdeveloped lungs and asthma, but I'm super lucky. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully it sounds like you were super lucky, because yeah, you'll get feeling better. You'll be feeling better. You'll get out of there. It'll be a good situation. Something you can remember, hopefully fondly. Hopefully it wasn't all bad. It sounds like you're making the best of it, so I think that's what's important. Okay. So, Thursday. Let's look at Thursday. Oh, okay. Okay. We have Five of Wands right here. And then we have Father of Pentacles right there. And then we have Angel of Strength in reverse right there. All right, so these cards right here, the way I would read these cards is Five of Wands is kind of a card of competition. It can be friendly competition, but it's like competing to try and get something, so it can be more friendly. So there could be someone that we're competing with. Again, it could be a friendly situation. Not like rivals or like bitter enemies or anything like that, but there could be some light rivalry, you know, that kind of like a frenemy situation, but you're competing to help make each other better. Now, when we see the Father of Pentacles, there could be a possible job situation coming in here. And so what this could mean is that maybe you and someone else, maybe someone you know, could both be applying for the same job. Or maybe there could be something going on where there's just this situation where it's kind of putting you up against somebody else, right? And I'm feeling like that can be kind of a tricky situation because we have the Angel of Strength right here. And this is in reverse. And so to me, this card here is saying that maybe we don't feel like we have what it takes. Maybe we don't feel like it's our time to shine, so to speak. Because that could be something where we're focused more on, I guess, the outcome than the journey. And whenever that happens, we tend to miss a lot of what's going on around us because we're focusing way more on the future than we are on the present. And the only thing we have is the present. The future isn't promised to anybody. So let me see here. Elizabeth says, you know what's so weird though? I can see the angels when they talk through people, especially before I fainted. Before I went to the ER, silver-eyed people were all around me. This entity only talked through these people who have silver eyes. Weird, right? That's interesting. Silver eyes. Wow, that's fascinating. Did you see wings or did you see... I'm actually very interested in that. I've never heard of silver-eyed people, so that sounds very fascinating. Did they look like people? Did they look humanoid, or was their features added or missing? I'm asking a lot of questions here. I'm interested is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to take another drink. Oh, man. That's interesting. Gray eyes. Huh. So I would imagine they're the same. Well, if you said they're the same like us, just the eyes are different, that is interesting. And this specific entity only talked to me with people with that eye color. What did the entity say? Huh. That's interesting. That is really weird. Huh. I'm wondering what that could mean. Only speaking through people with that. Its eyes, like, okay. You could tell, I think I understand what you're saying. Maybe I'm wrong. But you could tell the... you could tell, that the eyes had kind of an expression, like the aura of the entity had an expression, right? Without even saying anything, there was like this expression around just the eyes. Maybe that's... I wish there was language that I could use to convey more of a message in that way, but to me that's what I would imagine. Something where it's like, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to look at these other cards here. Yes, the ones I always see in my dreams. Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So it could be like a situation where it's a not necessarily a near-death experience, even though I don't know how bad it was for you. I have no idea. So it could have been that kind of situation. But we could be looking at something where it was an out-of-body experience. And then, so what can happen, and I know this is going to sound weird, what can happen is that we can do what's called bilocating, right? And if you have an out-of-body experience, but you stay super close to your body, you can see things or feel things that aren't necessarily there in the physical world, right? So they're not there, but they are there. But you're able to see with a different set of eyes because your spiritual eyes are kind of open in that setting. And you're able to see and you're able to kind of interpret and understand information and knowledge differently, if that makes any sense. But that's something that can happen. The bilocation, we stay close to the body. There can be stuff like, I don't know if that's what happened with you, but I'm just saying that's something that can happen. Okay, so let's look at fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael, right here. This one is in reverse. Okay, this is also for Thursday. Then we have the moon. And then we have Four of Cups. Okay, so these cards right here, these are really interesting. So with these cards, we have the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael. So the fourth chakra is the heart. The heart is all about connection. The heart is the kind of the empathic center for us. And when our heart is in tuned, when we have kind of learned the lessons that the heart provides, the heart is about learning when to let go, right? Learning when to let things take their place, learning when to go with the flow, so to speak. Because the solar plexus chakra right underneath that, the solar plexus chakra is about willpower, and it's about going after what it is you want. The heart chakra is about letting things come to you and not trying to force everything, not trying to force things to happen, letting things flow and letting things happen for you. So the heart is about letting go. The heart is about letting something breathe, letting something bloom. That's how flowers bloom, right? They can be forced. We've talked about this before. But the forced bloom, I feel like when flowers bloom naturally, that's how it's supposed to be. Usually entities talk through people. Kind of. I could tell it felt like an angel. My gut says it was one. Anyhow. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we'll talk about this, and then we'll absolutely talk about your experience too, Elizabeth. So, yeah, this right here, when we have the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael in reverse, it's saying that we're holding on to something. Now, what are we holding on to? What's the thing that we could be holding on to? So we have these cards next to it. We have the moon, right? The moon card is a very interesting card. With this card, we have the subconscious that we're holding on to. The subconscious is below our level of conscious awareness. Subconscious behaviors are things we do that, let's say someone we've never met before, they could observe us acting in a way that in 10 minutes they could know more about us than we could learn about ourselves in 20 years. That's how this kind of stuff is. We have subconscious behaviors. We have these kind of subconscious ways of being. And so right here, it feels like we're holding on to some sort of subconscious energy, right? And this energy that we're holding on to, Four of Cups right here. Four of Cups, you'll see this guy is wanting to rest. He's looking like he needs to rest. And the Four of Cups is taking a break. The Four of Cups is allowing yourself to rest, allowing things to progress, and realize that sometimes our journey takes a different turn, but it's still our journey. Our journey doesn't change. The experiences we have, those change. The way we react to those experiences, that changes. But our experience itself, the journey of life, that's going to keep going. That's going to keep going on. And we have to learn how we can unburden ourselves at each step. So the way I would like to imagine it is it's kind of like the layers of an onion, okay? At first, there's a lot of layers and you have to really peel to get to the core, right? But right now, we're in that process. We're peeling out the things that don't work. We're getting rid of things. We're trying to find in us our own sort of spark of divinity. And that takes time. That takes a lot of patience with ourselves. And the more patient we can be, the easier it is for us to hit that spark of divinity, that kind of soul, that feeling of just being in the power, of being in the soul, being in that sense of everything's going to be okay. Things are working for me, you know. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. When we get rid of what subconsciously is blocking us from experiencing that, we allow ourselves to fully experience life in the present moment. Subconscious behaviors are different though, right? Because they are below conscious level. They are subconscious. So the way we can work through that is we need to focus on how we react. We need to focus on how we are with people. Are we sharp with people? Do we have a low tolerance with certain things that people do? Do we have these kinds of things that really feel like they're hurting us? We have these kinds of behaviors. We need to focus on helping ourselves get better where we feel like we have shortcomings. But the way we do that is through gentle awareness. We don't berate ourselves. We don't try to say anything that's going to put us in a negative space. That takes us further away from understanding ourselves more. We've already had that in our lives. We've already had people berate us. We've had these kinds of things, and that never worked. That never helped us in any way. That did not help us grow. That did not help us learn anything new. So the only way we can learn something new in the subconscious way is to apply it with a sense of love and appreciation. That's what gives us that. And curiosity too. If we have a sense of self-curiosity, a sense of wondering of the self, like what's going on with me? How is this? How does this relate? That's going to help us tremendously, because curiosity is what sort of drives everything for us. Now, that being said, okay, the heart being in reverse, the moon card up here, we're holding on to subconscious behaviors. We need to rest. We need to rest. We need to rest. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we can be a little gung-ho, and we can be pushing pretty hard with ourselves. We can be pushing ourselves pretty hard. We could be hitting that burnout point and not necessarily even realize that we're hitting a burnout point. And it's important for us when we hit those points that we slow down, we take a breath, and we say, okay, I can stop for a second. I can breathe. I can allow myself to just sort of take in what's going on around me, right? And in my understanding, because I talk about this in my mediumship class, that I've taught, we have different levels of consciousness. Okay, we have the unconscious. Okay, that's, you know, like you're asleep, that's when you're dreaming, and the subconscious comes in there too. But we have the unconscious, we have the subconscious, the conscious, and then, in my opinion, when we take all of those three levels of consciousness, we go up into the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is combining the subconscious with the conscious mind and allowing ourselves to fully express who we are. We're no longer blocked. We're no longer feeling like there's trauma, there's things we need to work through, and the superconscious mind is where these kinds of vast amounts of information come from. So for mediums generally can enter through trance mediumship. They can enter a superconscious state. They don't stay there though. That's the whole thing, is that as we work spiritually through different parts, through different segments of our life, we'll understand ourselves better and we can integrate things better. The more gentle that we are, the better the power will be. And spirit, or the universe, loves to work in the conditions of love and curiosity. Those two are kind of like sister emotions to each other. Love is allowing ourselves to feel good about ourselves, allowing ourselves to say, I am enough. That is love. That is self-love. Curiosity is saying, well, I'm wondering how I would handle this. I'm wondering about this situation. I'm wondering what's going on over there. Curiosity, like I said, they're sister emotions to each other. So there's a lot here that we can learn. Primarily, though, I feel like Thursday is going to be a day where we could have struggles in a possible job situation. Okay, there could be that situation coming up because we had these other cards over here. In that scenario, if there is struggles there, I want you to remember that life is happening for us, not to us. I know sometimes it feels like things are just piling on, but life is meant for us to experience it, and we get to decide how we take in that experience. Hi, Olivia. Sure. If you would want, yeah, we can do that. If you could do, and the only reason I'm doing this is because Google takes about 30%. They take about 30%. So if you'd want to do like a donation of $13, that would be good. It's usually $10 a question, but Google does take that 30%. The extra $3 would make it so my rate kind of evens out. But I appreciate you coming on the channel, and we can absolutely help you. I'm just doing this right now, doing the generals here. But I hope everything's okay, Olivia. Okay, so I'm gonna put these away here. I feel like we're done with this part. I'm gonna read for Friday, and then I can jump into reading for everybody else. We can jump into personal readings. All right. Let me just shuffle these cards here. Oh man. Okay. Oh, okay. Awesome, Elizabeth. Thank you. Okay. All right. There we go. Perfect, perfect. I do appreciate that. And yes, you do get the discounted rates. And so So 20 works. You definitely do get the discounted rates. You've been supporting me on Patreon. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to shuffle these here. And then yeah, if we want to do Google, right? It'll just be an extra $3. Just because of that 30% cut that they take, and that kind of evens it out. I think they take more than that. Have a strong feeling that they do, but I understand some people can only pay through Super Chat, so. You're okay, Elizabeth. You still, okay, so let's do it this way, right? So, we can do a little bit of, trying to think. We'll still do 3 questions, right? Like that to me seems absolutely fair. So we'll do 3 questions if you have 3 questions. And then we can do a little bit of energy work, some energy healing if you would want to. Just a little bit, like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, sending some good vibes that way, so that way you can, get your money's worth. But yeah, hopefully that works for you, and we can just kind of go into that. Shuffle these here. Okay. Let's do this. Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. I try to pass on what I've learned and what I'm currently learning. There's a new, there's a book that's really good that I've been reading. I need to read more of it. I need to set time aside to read, but I'm trying to learn. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so the one, maybe you bought the one I recommended then before, because let's see, I recommended Mediumship Mastery by Stephen Herman, and then I recommended You Are Psychic by Deborah Lynn Katz. There's another recommendation. What was the third book I recommended to you, Elizabeth? I can't remember the third one. You might have already got the last one I recommended, so. Okay, so let's do this. This. All right, so this is for Friday. Let's kind of look at what we got here. Ah, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, I remember that one. Okay. All right, so a guidebook. Okay. Okay. Yep. All right, so the third one is this. So let's see if I can find it here. All right, awesome. Okay, thank you, Olivia. I appreciate that. Let's do this here. So, um, okay, perfect. All right, we'll look at that, Olivia. I'm going to read and thanks for helping support the channel. Really appreciate that. I'm going to read for Friday here, and then after that, we'll go from there. So let me show you this here. So this is what the one I've got. Okay, there it is. So it's called Psychic Witch by Matt Oren, down at the bottom there. It's really, really good. And the reason why I'm recommending something like that is because it talks about the two ways I feel like psychic ability kind of works. We have the clairvoyance, we have the knowing, we have the energy part, but with spells, if we have that and we incorporate that into stuff as well, all they are is intention based kind of recipes for how to get the things that we want out of life, right? And this book talks about how to develop both of those, and some of them concurrently, like using both of them at the same time. And I feel like if you develop both of these, that's going to help you so much, because you're going to be able to help people in very, very different situations in life. And the more tools you have in your tool belt, when we're talking about doing light work, the better off you're going to be helping people, right? You're going to have something for everybody that comes to you. You're going to have some little bit of knowledge for all of that. Okay, so let's look at Friday here. And Olivia, I hope you're okay with waiting here just a second. And let's see. So let's do this here. Okay, so Friday we have Two of Wands in reverse. All right, and then we have Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And then we have Blossoming Abundance. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate that, my friend. And then we have Blossoming Abundance. So Two of Wands in reverse, Seven of Coins in reverse, and Blossoming Abundance. This is kind of an interesting one. Two of Wands in reverse is sort of like there could be a decision that we need to make, and we're not wanting to make the decision. The two cards are always, you can think of the two cards as like they're splitting paths. They're trying to do that. So we could be having two things coming up for us on Friday where we can either do this thing or we can do that thing, but we can't do both. And so there could be a situation where we have to choose one or the other. But for some reason, maybe we're procrastinating. Maybe we're thinking that there's some way we can do both. There's some way that we can do this. There's some way we can not disappoint somebody. Okay? So that right there, that's not going to happen. I feel like we feel bad that we can't do exactly what we want to do on Friday, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that we even had a choice, right? That's the whole thing, is that I feel like we didn't even have a choice. We do have to make a decision come Friday. And when I see Seven of Coins in reverse, it could be that we're making a decision that could impact us. Possibly the reason why we're dragging our feet, the reason why we're procrastinating, is because we could be making a decision that is taking away maybe a financial, something financially from us, right? That could absolutely happen. But something financially may be taken, yet still we have blossoming abundance, okay? This is to show that money is not everything. Money is part of the equation, yes. Unfortunately, yes it is. But it is not all of the equation. There are so many variables in life. There's so much out there. If you know, the way I put it is like this. Hey, Jenny G, how you doing? The way I put it is like this. You could be a billionaire. You have $1 billion. You have suitcases full of money, right? And then you're on a deserted island. That money does you no good. That money is worthless. It has absolutely no value on that island. Sure, you can give a $100 bill to a crab and see what the hell happens. I can guarantee it's not going to be what you think, though. It's just going to take little snips, little crab bites out of that. what I'm saying is that money has as much value as we assign to it as a society, but it is not the end all be all. The end of our life, when things have kind of come and they've taken their turn, we're not going to be like, I wish I worked more, and then pass away. That's not how it is. We're gonna want to have connection. We're gonna want to have something there. So we may be giving something up on Friday that could be of financial gain, but we could be receiving something that is much, much better. Yeah, Jenny G, absolutely. Long time no see. Yeah, I took some time off. I needed that time adjusting to my antidepressant medication, right? That was an interesting thing to adjust to. So I had to take some time off to see how it would affect me. Time off, yes. I think everyone needs to do that, honestly. I'm lucky in that I can do that. I can take time off, but I know a lot of people it's difficult. So on Friday, okay, realize that sometimes we trade something for something else. Sometimes we sacrifice something that is not good for us for something that is better for us, and that is how we make good decisions in our life. So be aware of those kinds of things that could come up on Friday. Okay, so let's look at these other cards here. And let's see what we got. So we have Journey. Wow. Wow, okay, okay. Yeah, yes. I'm healthy. I'm back. I think I'm healthy. I hope I'm healthy. No, I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling better. But yeah, it's I'm trying to understand this, and one thing that I want to say right now is that working through the anxiety and the depression that I've experienced since I was 8, around 6 or 8 years old, and then not having as much of it, and then some days not having it at all, has opened my eyes to the fact that, and thank you for saying I look healthy. I appreciate that. But it opened my eyes to the fact that some people are living lives that are just so harsh. And my heart really goes out to those people, because I didn't realize how much I was suffering until I started feeling better. And I also want to say that if you take antidepressants or if you do anything like that, you can still do this kind of work. It doesn't limit you. It doesn't take away anything. It takes time to adjust to it, sure, but it's not. In my mind, I thought it was going to be this big taboo, taking the depression medication, starting to do something like that. It felt like I was saying I give up and but it's actually been helping me in a way that it's just been good. It's been very helpful. Yeah, and that's the thing is absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of those things that once you're in that process, you're in the way you start feeling better, the way you start understanding things more about yourself, you can really see how things are and how things have been affecting you. And for a long time I've had that. Like I said, around 8 years old, I was went to the doctor, was diagnosed with depression when I was 8. And so I don't hear of kids having depression when they're that young. So I think you're best suited not to be toxic positive, but the silver lining is you really do understand how we feel. I think this kind of work is meant for you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, I mean, and this isn't about me. This isn't about me. We can talk about that later. But this is something we'll focus on here. Hi, Savannah. How are you doing? Awesome, Savannah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I want to say that it's not this thing where you're on it. So right now we have, I'm thinking we're going to do, let's see, Elizabeth, I'm wondering if it would be okay. I know, Elizabeth, you paid first, but I'm wondering if it would be okay if I did Olivia's question and then I went to your question. And then Savannah, if you want to, it's $10 a question through PayPal or Cash App. Or if you want to do Super Chat, it's 13 because Google takes about 30%. So I do charge for questions. I do appreciate that you liked and subbed. But yeah, I still do charge for questions. So if that's something you want to do, you can see how I interact with these guys, and then you can decide if that's something that's right for you. If not, I would completely understand. But yeah. Well, this was nice for you. See you, Jenny G. Have a good one. Awesome, Savannah. Awesome. Okay. No time/destination. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I love that. That's good. I can take my time, which makes the best. It makes the best effort, right? Okay, so for Friday still, we have take care, Jenny. I think I said that. I said something, but do sleep well. So we have Journey, and we have the Moon. It's interesting, and then we have Justice. So these cards here, I figured there was something going on. So we'll do that first, okay? So right after I'm done reading these cards, Olivia, I'll address your question. You don't need to type it again. I'll just go up and read. And so I just had a feeling that we should do that first. Okay, so we have Journey right here. Okay, and then we have the Moon card. And then we have Justice. Okay, so this is really interesting. So Friday, we could have something here where we could be going on a subconscious journey. We talked about this on Thursday, actually. But the Justice card is interesting. So we could have on Friday, it could be kind of a balancing act. It could be a situation where the way I read this with all the cards combined, I feel like Friday we're going to be getting rid of things that the Moon, overarching energy, these next few days. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. When the Moon comes up twice, it is a major arcana card. And when it comes up twice, that to me is saying, pay attention to me. This is a theme that's going on, right? Especially when it's twice. And it's in the same position in the second half as the last one, if I'm not mistaken. But Journey, subconscious journey, and Justice. So I feel like we're trying to do things here that are going to help us balance ourselves in the future. So Friday is going to be a day, and I'm going to say this, and maybe you guys will get upset when I say this. Friday is going to be a day where we could feel triggered. We could have not just one or two or three situations. We could have multiple situations where we are feeling triggered. And when I say triggered, I mean that we are having a stressful response to something that is beyond our control. And this would be a good time for us to take a step back, breathe, and then look at the situation for what is actually happening here. If we don't look at it for what it is, we're going to keep putting labels on it. We're going to keep trying to make it something that it's not. We need to take ourselves out of our own biases, and we need to see the situation for what it is. Sometimes we're high-strung as hell, and then there's one other thing on top of it, and it just sort of makes everything else worse. But the stress that was there before wasn't necessarily caused by what's happening now, but it's unresolved things that we haven't dealt with previously. So it's important for us to keep on top of the things that are stressing us out, the things that are kind of gnawing at the back of our mind. It's important for us to look at those things, to make time for those things, and to sit with those things, because that is the subconscious journey. So Friday could be a day where we can change the pattern of thinking, because we could have situations that are similar to other stressors that we've had, right? It's a good forewarning message. Yep. Okay, perfect, Elizabeth. Awesome. So that's what I'm talking about here. Hey, nice to see you too. I am definitely back. And yeah, this time we're talking about the subconscious journey, getting rid of what no longer has an effect here. Hopefully you're doing well too. Oh, it's David. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that for the question here. But I'm going to go to Olivia's question here. So I'm going to do the Justice card here. I'm going to look at your question, Olivia. The only thing I'm going to do, because I have drinking about half of this so far. Can't really see, but I'm drinking about half of it. I need to use the little boy's room. I will be right back. And after I'm back, we can go into your questions. So get ready. And let's see what we can do for you. Okay, Olivia? Coming right back, we'll go right to your question. So hold on tight. Let me do this really quick. No problem, Olivia. I completely understand. Okay, so let's do this here. I'm going to go up and read your question again, and let's see what we can find out. And I will use David as the name for the boyfriend instead of just saying your boyfriend. So that does help. Thank you. I really need to know what is wrong with my new boyfriend because he's been acting so weird. The last time we've met, and I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I want to know if I'm right or wrong. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at this. I'm going to use the cards here. So we're going to take a look at this. I want you to understand that sometimes these situations just present themselves. So we're going to see how we can handle this. But you don't seem like someone that would be, I guess, irrational to me, Olivia. So I would say, well, let's see what the cards say. What is going on with Olivia's new boyfriend, David? Okay. Good luck, Elizabeth. Shouldn't be an issue, but just in case. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'll be doing Olivia's reading here for a little bit, and then we'll go to your reading, Elizabeth. So just hang in there. You are welcome. You're very welcome. You're brave to have your blood drawn, because I am as squeamish as hell when it comes to needles. I hate needles. I hate them with a passion. That's probably not helping you, though. I'm sorry. It's just something I feel. Okay, so what's been going on with Olivia's new boyfriend, David? Wow. Okay, so first card we get is Queen of Coins in reverse. Okay. And I'll mention some other stuff here in a second. Then we have Five of Coins in reverse, which isn't that bad. Five of Coins in reverse, actually not a bad card. The Five of Wands, though, is an interesting card. Okay. This is a card of like competition. Generally, it's more friendly competition. It usually is more friendly competition. But around these other cards, we're going to kind of change that meaning a little bit. Nine of Cups in reverse, right here. Nine of Cups is a really good card, but when it's in reverse, there's something going on here emotionally. Something is being blocked or stunted. Now, the Queen of Coins being in reverse, that was the first thing that popped out. And when I see that being in reverse, I'm wondering... So, Queen of Coins, when I look at this card here, my first feeling is Virgo, but it could also be Taurus or Capricorn. In my opinion, the signifier cards, I feel like they can be read as any of the earth signs because it's like the earth signs amplified or exemplified. So Queen of Coins in reverse, to me, would feel like there could be something going on in that situation. Olivia, what is your sign? What is your sign? Because I want to know if this is describing you or if this is describing something else. Are you a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn? In one of your, well, sun sign would be the one, but oh, Aries mixed with some Capricorn. Okay, so this could be referring to you feeling like you've lost something, right? This could be referring to you feeling like there's something going on in that situation. The Queen of Coins is interesting, though, because this is generally a very gentle card. This is a card that usually doesn't push. I don't feel like it pushes too hard. When we're talking about a queen, we're talking about someone who doesn't demand respect. They command respect, like people just generally gravitate. Right, but when this is in reverse, it's like things have been flipped upside down. Five of Coins. I'm almost wondering if something has happened financially with this person. But then on top of that, this person has tied themselves emotionally to... Okay, he is Aries mixed with Capricorn. I'm a Scorpio Cap. Okay, so Capricorn kind of runs through. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. I'm really wondering here if there's something to do with possibly a job situation, or there's something to do with finances or income, because when I see Five of Coins in reverse, that's not a bad card necessarily, but when I see the Nine of Cups in reverse, this person's blocking themselves off from something. I feel like this person is running from something, and we can look a little more into that, but it does feel like this person's running. Is his energy fidgety and nervous? Like what does his energy feel like to you when you're around him? Are his eyes darting around, or what? Kind of help me to understand here, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, so the anxiety, all right. And I was... Okay, so when we're talking about this, because these are some pretty sensitive issues, it does feel to me like this person is... It does feel like this person's not feeling right. I can say that. And I'm wondering here, if there's something going on, because when we're talking about schizophrenia, that can present itself in a few different ways, but one of them, you can be paranoid, is something I've heard. There could, like, paranoia, there can be voices is something. So is he like responding to things that aren't there? Is he saying stuff? I'm curious what makes you think that there could possibly be a schizophrenic kind of situation. Take another drink here. In the meantime, while we're looking at that, a lot of the cards are in reverse. I'm going to use these energy cards though and see if I can get something else. All right, so what can we tell cards? What can you tell me about David? What is David's energy at the moment? Okay, I can see why that would be something that would raise some red flags. Let's look here. See what we can see. So has he been acting weird besides that, though? You said his energy felt a little off. I'm gonna look, though, so hold on. Let's see. All right, David's energy. What are we looking at here? A feel like there's something that's in disharmony, but like she said that without any explanation. Right. So that to me seems kind of weird, right? That seems kind of strange that there's no explanation. When something like that is left really vague, it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, because obviously you'd want some specifics. You wouldn't just want because, and then you're like, because what? And then they're like, you know, it's one of those situations you want to know what the hell's going on. So let's look here. So I get this card here. I get Healer of the Ages in reverse when we're talking about his energy. And then I get Woman holding a coin right here, right? When I see these two next to each other, I am wondering, the only thing my friend said was, I saw fear in her eyes. I'll say this right now, Olivia. I get the Healer of the Ages in reverse here. That to me says there's things this person will not, I feel like there's things this boyfriend won't go back to and like look at. Maybe because they can't. Maybe there's something going on there and it's hard for them to go back and look at things that have happened in the past. But it does seem like there's something going on here. Healer of the Ages in reverse is something where this person is stuck and stagnated in some way, right? And then I get Nine of Cups in reverse as well. That to me, and then the Queen of Coins in reverse, and then the Five of Wands, I feel like there's something not right. And there seems to be something with this David person where I feel like this David person feels threatened, even if there's nothing there. That's a feeling that I get. I feel threatened when there's nothing there. It's anxiety a little bit, but it's more like dread that this person has. And I feel like there's a sense of watching over the shoulder in some sort of way. But I don't necessarily think that the dread that I feel, though, that's the thing, is it's not normal kind of anxiety. Can be something that's hard to deal with, but it can be manageable. Dread is something that's different. And I feel like there's something here. So I don't know about schizophrenia, not a doctor or a psychologist, and I sure as hell couldn't diagnose based off the information I have. But it does feel to me like something's going on mentally where there's not a strong connection with this person, where there's like a mental, something feels like it's missing. Something feels like a connection is missing. So that's what I'm feeling, Olivia. Probably not the thing you wanted to hear, I'm sure. But I am feeling like if your gut is telling you something, okay, and possibly if someone else is saying something, it might be best to kind of back away from the situation and look at it more objectively before you make any decisions, or before we kind of move forward with the relationship. I'm not saying to cut it off, but I am saying to look at it objectively. And I'm wondering, Olivia, if you can talk to this person openly about something, if you can talk to them about any of this kind of stuff, even in a lighthearted way. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but if there can be something we can do where we can talk to this person and kind of get their side of the story or see what's going on, and they open up and they talk, that can be a good thing too. Because right now we don't have the answers, but if the person is being closed off, that's even harder. That's also a sign of red flags too. You don't want to be with a closed off person if they're not saying what's going on, or if they're not telling you what's going on. So what I'm seeing here is, in my opinion, we take a step back. We take a step back and we really look at what's going on, and then we decide if we need to go or not. Because if something is telling you that something is not right, I don't want you to stay in that situation. And it sounds to me like you have something, you feel like something's not right. So I would, yeah, hopefully that makes sense, Olivia. If there can be communication, if you can talk to this person openly and you feel like that's something you can do, that's good. But If it feels like things are going south, if you feel something in your gut telling you not to do it, I'm saying listen to yourself. Listen to what's going on in that way. So hopefully that kind of explains it. I just feel like there's things this person has not dealt with, and I don't feel like they will deal with them. It feels like there's unresolved trauma in a pretty sizable way, where I feel like something happened, right? And if you want to view trauma in a person's life like knots, okay, like someone's taken a knot and they tie it, each time we have a string that's this long, right? We have a string that's this long. It starts here and it ends here, okay? Now, when there starts to be knots in that string, every time there's a knot, the string gets a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter. And what I'm trying to say with that is, when the string gets very, very short, we only see a very small part of who that person really is, because the trauma is carrying all this other subconscious energy. And when they work through their traumas and they go through the traumas, then they can start to unwind themselves and they can start to stretch their string out and become kind of who they were meant to be in a way. But the way I feel now, it feels like there's energy around this person that just feels off. It does feel like there's something not quite connecting, and I feel like there's unresolved trauma. So that's my vote there. Does that kind of answer your question, Olivia? No. Okay, I'm going to say this right now, Olivia. I'm going to say this right now. You're probably the sweetest person. I can imagine you are the kindest, sweetest person. It is not your job to fix anybody. Yourself, yes. Anybody else, no. It's not your job. It's not your mission, and don't make that something. If you put that burden on yourself, you're going to burn yourself out. I promise you that. It is not your job. It's not your mission. Okay? You're a very kind and sweet person, but no. Your mission is to help yourself. Your mission is to understand yourself, and your mission is to go in and help people as much as they can handle that kind of situation. In this kind of thing here, though, if there isn't stuff that's being said, that it's no longer your journey to bear. It's no longer your thing to go through, because there's a block, and it's not your job to be a girlfriend mommy to this person. It's not your job, okay? That's not something that you should be doing, because it's going to burn you out and the relationship will strain. Even if you stay, you want to help them. I understand there's wanting to help. I get that. But sometimes, Olivia, and if I can say this, we can have what are called people-pleasing tendencies. I know I tend to do it. And that's where we make ourselves very uncomfortable so that someone else can be uncomfortable. Right. And so if we go into this kind of situation and we realize that we do tend to make other people comfortable before we make ourselves comfortable, or we don't want to feel like we're giving up on somebody, it's not that we're giving up on somebody. It's that we're taking better care of ourselves, and we're deciding what feels right to us, and we're establishing boundaries on what we want to have in the future. Right? We don't want to feel like we have to have someone, we don't want to feel like we have to help someone through these issues. When it seems like it's something they could have done a while ago, but you know what I mean? It's not your responsibility, is what I'm trying to say. But there is also just allowing to see what happens, like what Anime is saying, or see what happens, that sort will get more clues. But what I'm feeling here is that follow kind of what you're feeling, but I want you to do, I don't want you to feel like you're obligated to help this person, because you're not. there can be a feeling of that, but in no way are you obligated to help. It's their journey, you know, they'll be fine without you, kind of a thing. I just want you to feel like it's not on your shoulders, because that's a hell of a lot to carry. There's a reason. There's generally a reason why we keep. I'm thinking you're saying just keep being put on the same kind of person again and again. Okay, so that kind of situation can happen because we haven't learned how to do boundaries. We haven't learned how to set those up yet. And from what you said earlier when you were talking about helping him, I feel like you're someone who, like I said, you'd make yourself very uncomfortable so that someone would be comfortable. You would go out of your way to make sure someone else was just fine, even if it meant you suffering, right? You giving someone a blanket and you being there cold. Same kind of person's life. And yeah, there's things to learn. There is things to learn. But generally, these situations keep presenting themselves until we've worked through kind of a trauma that we've been through when we were children, right? And when we work through those kinds of issues, then we don't attract those kinds of people in our life anymore, because we know what that looks like and we know how to set boundaries for ourselves, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. But that is what I learned when I walked away from my best friend. Right. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Absolutely. We can only the best way to describe it is that sometimes, in fact, most times, people are put on our path and we see that their life can be difficult. We see that there's things going on in their life, but pain is meant to help people to evolve and to motivate people to get better, right? Eventually, it becomes something where they have to look at it, they have to see what's going on, and then they move further past that. It's not our job to show another person their pain and sort it out and file it for them and, you know, get the receipts, kind of a thing. It's their job to do that for themselves and then bring that to the table. Okay. You're welcome, Olivia. I hope things go well, and if you need any more help, please come on here. And don't take what I'm saying as like gospel. Please use your own insight as well and sort of see what's going on, right? Allow yourself to see what's going on, but just don't overextend yourself. That's my only advice that I'm going to offer with that. Just, yeah, okay. But you are very welcome. So with that being said, Elizabeth, would you want to ask your questions? And also sleep well, Olivia, when you do go to sleep. I know you were saying you were tired, so hopefully you can sleep okay. Hi, Manju, how are you doing? Yes, it's been a minute. It has definitely been a minute. I'm doing good, adjusting to my medication and just sort of getting used to being on lives again. So I needed a little bit of a break. I'm feeling better now. Okay, well, while you're getting a poke, I'm gonna take a pee, leave a pee kind of situation. Sure. Yeah, Olivia, no problem. I'll do this one. I'll do these ones right here. And we can absolutely do that. So I'll draw a card for you. And we will see what number we got. I'm doing okay now, mind you. But thank you. It's just depression medication. It's not like I'm sick. I mean, kind of. I look at it that way. I've been sick for a long time. But thank you, Matthew, for being very sweet. So let's look at what number the card has on it. Okay, right there. 22, and it's the yin yang card. But 22 is the number. Hopefully, Olivia, the number 22, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that means something. I was just drawing a card for Olivia real quick. She needed to see a number on a card, so I did that for her. Hopefully, Olivia, that helps in some way. And you can absolutely request stuff like that. That's no problem at all. You're braver than I am, Elizabeth. I just couldn't do shots, period. That just sounds like a no-go for me. I would tell the doctor I'm allergic to needles, and you know, if it was a life-threatening situation for me, I'd just probably pass away right there. So no, I hate needles. Oh, I hate needles. Yeah. But that's me, right? Everyone has their fears. Deep water and needles are probably my two biggest fears. And needles underwater, oh, forget about it. I'm already gone. Hey, buddy. Okay. So I'm gonna take another drink here. Okay, Elizabeth, so your question was your first question is just a general. Okay. So I'll come back and we'll do that. Again, I gotta go to the bathroom. But as I come back and I'm done, we'll go to your question, we'll do the general, and then we can do the next question after that. But we'll spend some time on these, okay, and do that. Thank you, Pam. Olivia, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. Thank you again, Olivia, for helping to support the channel. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Sleep well, my friend. Have a good night. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. I am back in action and ready to do fractions. Actually, I'm not. That was a lie. I need to learn how to do them better. Okay, let's do this. All right, so let's do this. Let's see what we got here. So just a general for Elizabeth. So let's look at a general for you. Let's try something kind of new here. So I'm gonna look stuff up, just really quick. I'm gonna look something up. So shoot. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. Is that Yoshi? Oh, is it? It is. That sure as hell is Yoshi, the one and only big gray boy of the house, with his white little boots that he wears all over the place. He has really cute paws. Okay, you have to see it to believe it, my friends. All right, so we're gonna do this one for you, Elizabeth. I'm gonna do a general 6-card reading. Okay. And we're just going to pull some cards. We're going to find out what we can find out. So let's do this. I like this. I like the format of this reading. So I wanted to find something that really was good. And this looks amazing. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Where is my... There we go. Okay. He's an easy one to love. He is a very easy one to love. Okay. There we go. So our first card, I'm going to shuffle these cards here. And we're going to look at how you feel about yourself now. So that's going to be something we look at with these cards. That's our first question. How you feel about yourself now? So let's shuffle. Okay, let's do a couple more shuffles here. Okay, one more. Perfect, here we go. All right, first card. I'm just gonna lay all 6 out and then I'm gonna just, well, we'll do this. We will do this. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. All right, so upon doing that, I will move this over here. Move that over. Little game controller. You know how it is, guys. Okay, so let's we move this closer. Let me position that down. There we go. All right, so let me move this out of the way here. Okay, so we're going to be starting with this card here is going to be our first card, and I'm just going to pull this one up. So this one, like I said, yeah, we're going to do a little something different. Okay, so how you feel about yourself now? Let's look at this card. Let's see, how do you feel about yourself now? That's good. Okay, so this card, I'll show you. This is the Lovers. This is the Lovers card. It says it right there, top. Kind of hard to see, but that's the Lovers card right there. So how you feel about yourself right now, Elizabeth, is we're taking two parts of a whole and we're integrating. So right now you're in the hospital, and I feel like this is a time for you to reflect, and you're starting to integrate things into your life. So that's a good thing. I feel like we're having less of a resistance to ourselves, and we're leaning more into the process of inner integration, which means taking parts of ourselves and making them whole again. We're no longer taking things and putting them to the side. So the way I would describe this is, it's kind of like we're taking the inner child, and instead of saying, why are you screaming? Why are you mad? Why are you throwing a tantrum to the inner child? You're just coming up and you're holding it and you're saying, it's okay, I'm here. Let's talk about what's going on. And I feel like that's working through trauma, that's working through things. So on your journey, on your psychic journey, on your journey in the spiritual way, this is really, really a good sign. This is showing that we're learning lessons, we're integrating what we know, and we're going back into the past with the knowledge we have now, and we're using that for information for the future. So we're kind of healing parts of ourselves. Does that make sense to you so far, Elizabeth? Trying to make it so that, yes, that feels in alignment. Okay, perfect. All right, so then we're going to look at this next card here. What you want most at this moment. Okay, so that's the second card. What do you want most at this moment? So let's look at that. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, I'll show you this card. This is the Five of Cups. So what you want most at this moment, and when I was doing the tarot readings before, I felt like this was in alignment. So Elizabeth, I feel like what you need, or what you want most at this moment is going to be time to rest and reflect, which is what you have in the hospital. So I feel like you're using this as an opportunity to take things easy because you kind of don't have a choice. I feel like you're a person that when you set your mind to something, you can go kind of gung-ho. And I feel like it can kind of be like, well, consequences be damned. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. This is forcing you to slow down in a way and take in what you have now and understand what you have now. So what you want most is to be able to understand yourself, to be able to be, like we've talked about. You said something about being in alignment. What you want most right now is to be in alignment with yourself. And I feel like the hospital stay, in a way, has helped you to kind of figure that out. It's helped you to, you still have like distractions in the hospital, but it's kind of helped you to see things in a different way. And maybe this incident that happened, right? The double pneumonia, stuff like that, maybe it put things into perspective for you. Maybe it puts something into perspective in a way that is showing you that rest is something that is needed. And like I said, I get this feeling that you're someone who, because I've connected with you before, you have an energy about you that is like electricity running through. I mean, it's just a lot. It's this powerful energy. And I feel like for you, sitting, relaxing, being still, I feel like is something that you kind of have to do now. It's something that you sort of have to take the time and understand that. So does that make sense? Right. Absolutely. Absolutely, and me. That's absolutely. So we have these other ones to look at too. So perfect. Okay, so this right here, Elizabeth, I want you to know right now, okay? I want you to take any blame off yourself. I want you to say right now, I'm healing, I'm in a safe space. It's okay for you right now to just do whatever it is you need to do right now. I want you to take that time, and I want you to make this a personal statement because resting is part of life. In fact, it's at least 8 hours a day of life. Without resting, we fall apart. And I want you to see that. I want you to understand that resting is essential. I know it seems like it's wasted time. I get that, I do. But I also understand that what else are you going to be doing with that time? You know what I mean? We need sleep. We need something to do, or else everything else suffers. Okay, so let's look at this card. Your fears. So this is number 3, okay, and we're going to be looking at your fears. So let's look at what this card is. And we have the Page of Swords. All right. Your fears are going to be not feeling like you're intellectually at par with your peers. So when I see the Page of Swords, this is feeling like intellectually, I feel like I'm not good enough in some ways. And I feel like people judge me because maybe I don't have this, or this that other people could have. So it could be that your biggest fear is feeling inadequate with your intelligence, right? Crying, but I did last night and I felt defeated yet better. Perfect. Okay, so, and I say perfect, I'm happy that you can cry and let it out because it's important for us to feel, the depth of these emotions. And when we cry, especially when we're having that guttural kind of crying where it's like snot's dripping down our face, and I mean, when we're really in it, that helps us so much. It helps us to express how the heart is feeling. It helps us to let that out, okay? So that's an important thing. That's a huge thing. But this right here, Elizabeth, is there some fear of feeling inadequate with your peers? Is there something here where maybe us feeling like we don't have it figured out? Maybe that's something that we're scared of. Maybe we're scared that someone can do that, or someone can feel that way. And judgment, being scared of judgment, I understand that. That's a fear. That's something I think we all have, right? The fear of being judged, at least to some degree. Elizabeth, that's okay. That is okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say about this. A lot of times, for me personally, I was 17. Okay, there we go. All right, so I was 17, dropped out of high school, right? I feel I can do so much more than I am, but I keep getting pushback. And I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can, Elizabeth. There's a lot going on there, and you're someone who has that perseverance, right? And not having your GED, not doing that kind of stuff, I understand that. And I understand that there's a fear there. There's like feeling inadequate. There's feeling that kind of thing. But I went and I got mine last week. I got my GED, and there's still some stuff there with me. It's not something that cures whatever's going on, but it's something that can kind of help open opportunities. But I'll say this right now, Elizabeth, I feel like if you applied yourself, I feel like it would be okay. I feel like you would do really well because the GED, okay, you only have to get 45% correct to pass, okay? You start with 100 points. That's automatically given to you at the very start. And if you hit 45, if you hit 145 in any subject, you pass. You don't have to do anything else better than that, right? And so I'm feeling like that's something that we could do, right? I know I could get an F in school. I know that was something I could do pretty well, actually. And this is like an F minus. And if you can get an F minus in school, the GED can be something eventually that you can take on. And I feel like you could do it. I really do. I really do. But I understand having intelligence as a safety net because I've done that myself. I get that. I completely understand. So let's look at some more here. But is it resonating so far, Elizabeth? And hopefully what I'm saying is encouraging. I don't want to come off as like, but you let me know, Elizabeth. Okay, so I do. I get it. Um, but, right, me and you, and a lot of other people too. I'm not just putting us in a boat together here, but a lot of other people who are on the spectrum, who have these different uh, things from neurotypical people. We learn differently, we observe differently, we understand differently, and the education system was not designed for us. It just wasn't. And so I can understand that, but I don't want you to feel this deep shame for not having the GED, or feel shame for not having it, because at the end of the day, it is just a piece of paper. And I feel like if you applied yourself, it would not be an issue. I really do feel like you're smart enough that you could do it. I really do. Okay. So Manju is next after Elizabeth. So after I'm done with Elizabeth's reading, Manju, I can read for you, my friend. Just gonna put that there, and we'll go here, and we'll do. Okay. All right. They do. Schools definitely need to step their game up. Okay. Was hearing something. I was wondering what that was. Okay, so let's do this here. But you can do it. Okay, for me, Elizabeth, it was. Come on, focus. For me, it was 6 hours, which is kind of a lot, but you can take one test at a time. And you just go to GED.com, and I think you can get it sorted out. I really do. And I understand that they want this, that, and the other. Honestly speaking, I didn't even really study for the GED. I decided I wanted to take it. It was the weekend. I couldn't take it on the weekend, and so I just took it on Monday. I studied a teeny bit for it, like the math part, because I was worried about that. But it's not bad. And a lot of it, at least if it's the same test you're taking that I'm taking, focuses more on reasoning skills than on memorization of formulas and stuff like that. And that helped me tremendously, because it focuses more on reasoning and not so much on memorization. And that's where I was messed up. That's where in school I would get messed up, because my memory with things, it was hard for me to recall the formula for X over Y equals whatever. And on the math part, if you're, self-conscious about math, you do get a calculator. And on parts of the science test, you get a calculator. Anyway, let's get back to your reading. I just wanted to address that. Okay, so let's look at this. All right. So this next card here, this is what is going for you. Okay? So what is going for you right now? Okay, this is good. Okay, I'm going to put the thing back down here. Put the thing back, flip it, and reverse it. All right, let's do this. So we have the Missy Chariot right here. But it's having a hard time focusing on. For some reason, it's having a hard time focusing on the card. This is indeed the Chariot. And this is what is going for you. So what's going for you, Elizabeth, is a tremendous amount of momentum. I do feel like there's resistance, there is pushback, but it seems like to me when you start hitting your stride, it feels like you can go pretty far. You may hit a block, you may hit things that aren't exactly easily movable, but I do feel like you hit your stride, and then things progress pretty well towards there. Eventually there's something that we hit that's harder for us to move, but it seems like when you set your mind to something, you get it done. But I feel like there's overwhelming anxiety before that. There's a lot of anxiety, and then you break through, and then there's a release of that anxiety because you realize the fear that you had wasn't as founded as you thought it was. Okay? And I feel like you're someone who tends to sort of psych themselves up in certain situations. And I'm just letting you know now that you have the power, you have the manifestation energy to go for what you want in life. You just have to be able to see these things that we're talking about here, see them as slight setbacks. Don't see them as these immovable objects. They are just slight setbacks, and we can totally just navigate around them, and we can understand them, okay? These are steps that we're taking to better ourselves, and it does take time. Okay, so let's look at this next card. So this next card here is, what is going against you? So let's look at what is going against you. Okay, so this card, and I'll show you this one. Okay. My camera's having a hell of a time focusing. Maybe I'll lift it back up. This is what's, yeah. Perfect. You challenge your fears. Awesome. Okay, that's perfect. That's what we want to do. We want to challenge our fears. We want to question. We want to question things. If something's going on in our head, okay, if we have that negative voice going on in our head, something we can do is we can say, okay, what do I have to prove that that's real? What do I have to prove that I am dumb, or that I'm this, or that I'm that, right? And generally speaking, if we challenge the voice, we look for evidence to prove that we are stupid, which, by the way, is much harder to find than you'd think, okay? It's just those negative voices come in and they try to tell us what's going on. It's not real though, right? We have Queen of Wands in reverse. Still having a hard time focusing. But this card here, so what's going against you? Queen of Wands in reverse is saying that there's some passion, there's some things here, there's a lot of energy. So we have the Chariot right here. This is water. This is water-based. The Queen of Wands is fire. And the Chariot is Cancer. The Chariot represents Cancer. The Queen of Wands in reverse is fire. But this is wanting to find our passion, wanting to be passionate, find our passion, and keep our passion. But something in you, I feel like, is saying that if you find something, it's hard for you to keep it. Or if you do something, it's hard for you to be happy, because maybe as soon as you accomplish something, you're already looking towards the next goal, and it doesn't feel like it's time to celebrate yet. And so I feel like what's working against you is the fact that you need to take time out for yourself to say, okay, I need to celebrate these little victories being in quotations. I need to celebrate these victories, right? I need to do something here, and I need to celebrate. I need to realize that there's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm not being cocky. I'm not being ahead of myself. I'm being human, and I deserve to celebrate just as much as anyone else deserves to celebrate their accomplishments. Okay? So that's something we're talking about here. So it's basically feeling guilty that we haven't achieved what we've set out to achieve. But I can guarantee with this mindset, even if we did achieve what we set out to achieve, we would still say it's not enough. So we need to focus on celebrating the small victories and have that come through for us. Okay, Elizabeth? Hopefully that's making sense. All right. So let's do card number 6. We have future outcome here. Okay, this is good. This is good. Card number 6. Okay, so we have card number 6 is this little guy right here. This is the King of Coins. You couldn't tell though because it's so damn blurry. I don't know why it's so blurry. I'll have to hold on. Does that do anything? Let me see here. I think that's just adjusting the ISO, or the, yeah, I think that's just adjusting the ISO. All right, let's go back down a little. Okay. So King of Coins, yes. Taurus energy, absolutely. We have Taurus energy. It can be Capricorn and Virgo as well. But the King of Coins on the future, so this is the future outcome. This is the outcome of what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to realize that we have everything we need already in us to achieve what it is that we want to achieve. That's something that I feel like is hard for you to grasp. I feel like, Elizabeth, you have these brief glimpses of your own insight, your own kind of power, so to speak, and it kind of frightens you because you're still focused on some mindsets that are in a healing place, right? You're still focusing on these mindsets that are in a healing place. And so to see something that you are powerful, you are strong, I feel like is something you really want, but it's also something you challenge and you contradict yourself and you say, but I'm not though, in certain contexts. And so this to me is saying that everything is going to be okay, but it's time for you to take the reins. It's time for you to understand that resting is progress. That's something that's really good. That's something we need to have going forward. You being able to rest and take it easy, even if it was through a situation that is difficult, right? Even if it's through a situation you're hospitalized, it still is showing you that rest is vitally important. And not only that, but being able to rest in a way where it's like you really can't do what it is you want to do at this moment. You really can't go after those things at this moment. And that is something that you need, because you need something to come in, wake you up and say, everything's okay. Everything is okay. I know there's a rush. I know there's this feeling of like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. But the thing is, we put so much pressure on ourselves. It builds up, it builds up, it builds up. It's like a balloon and it's getting ready to pop. And then when it pops, you're in the hospital. Does that make sense? When it pops, you are in the hospital. And this is something that I feel like can be prevented in the future by realizing that we already have everything we need, and that if we try to rush things, we're just hurting ourselves in the process. Rushing doesn't lead to good things. Okay, perfect. All right, so as a general reading, hopefully that was good for you. Yeah, hopefully that was good. So that is what I've got here. And yeah, so what is your second question, Elizabeth? And then we'll do a little bit of the energy work, and then is about the eyes. Okay. And Manju, thank you for being patient. You know how I am. I tend to give people plenty of time because I want to make sure you guys are heard. So let's do this here. Okay. The silver ones you see in your dreams and through people. Okay, so silver is interesting, right? So we have two different properties. Silver is equated more to the moon than it is to anything else. So you have silver, that's the moon. You have gold, that's the sun, right? And then we have the chemical compositions. Silver ones, what are they and how do they talk to me? And why do they talk to me? Okay, why do they talk to you? Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll absolutely get to that. I'm going to focus more on the concept of silver being a subconscious kind of situation, okay? So silver represents the moon represents the subconscious. That's something we can talk about. Silver also is it has interesting properties, right? It's a very sterile kind of thing. So in my opinion, I feel like silver is a very sacred kind of metal, and it's also used for a lot of stuff. It's used for a lot of things, but it has antibacterial properties, which is to me, the characteristics of the metal describe the subconscious attributes as well. So that's why I'm bringing that up. It seems like I'm just jabbering, and I am, but there is a point, I promise. Okay, so let's do this here. The moon, the subconscious. So the silver eyes, to me, are talking to you through your subconscious. That's the way they communicate. That's why they communicate through dreams, or they communicate through situations of extreme distress. Okay, that's the silver eyes. That's what I can see with that going on here. So I'm going to try and look a little bit deeper to try to understand the message. So I'm just going to have my iPad here, and I'm just going to I'm going to do what's called automatic writing, kind of like scrying a little bit. But what I'm really doing is I'm drawing. And as I draw, the vibrations of the pen or the pencil help give me insight, okay? So this is something you can try at home. You just relax your mind. You're talking to someone, if you're trying to read their energy, and you start drawing, and the vibration of the pen on the paper, as it's going over the paper, can actually give us messages through a subconscious way or through a psychic way. So let me try doing this here, and we'll see what we can come up with. So let's see. And the way you do it is simple. So we go like this. Okay, so my iPad's completely blank. Okay, I'm going to move these cards out of the way, and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about here. So iPad's completely blank, and we can go kind of like this. Okay, so as I take the pencil, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out on this a little bit just so we can have that. Okay, so now we're going to start with this. Okay, I'm just selecting the right tool. And I'm using red. That should show up. Okay, it does. Perfect. All right, here we go. So they don't have to be big strokes. Okay, so with this right here, these kinds of things, that's all I'm doing when I'm doing this automatic writing. But from this, I got something. So from that, I got this feeling, okay, Elizabeth, I'm sorry you're lagging, but you'll catch up. Thank you for letting me know. So right here, we're going to be doing, so we were talking about the silver eyes. And the silver eyes, to me, the silver eyes are all about perceiving what is seen but is not talked about. So the silver eyes to me are they're seeing the same things we see, but they see them in a different way. They see them in a potential way, in an unexpressed kind of potential way. Just like this, okay? If we have this kind of situation, I will draw this here to kind of demonstrate. All right, let's pretend that this is an egg, okay? And let's say that this egg right here, we have no idea what this egg is. We have absolutely no idea what this egg is. We've never seen an egg like this before, okay? So what these silver eye people come in, and I feel like the reason they represent silver eyes, I don't necessarily feel like this is the way that they would appear to everybody, but for you and your subconscious, this is how they appear. They appear with silver eyes. I feel like they can change depending on the situation. So the silver eyes is kind of like a telltale sign for you that this is who you're communicating with. It represents a way of communication, and you can call them silver eyes. You have a way to describe them, and you have something you can do in your mental faculties to say that's what they are. Okay? All right. So when we're talking about this, this egg right here, this egg represents the number 0. Okay? And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by the number 0? What I mean is that there is infinite potential in this egg before it's hatched. We know this egg's going to hatch, but we don't know what it's going to be. There is infinite potential before this egg hatches. Okay? And that's what these silver eyes are talking about. They see the infinite potential that lies in the human condition. They see that there is this thing that is infinite within us. But humans have a way of labeling ourselves and limiting ourselves when we are labeled. So when the egg finally does hatch, okay, we get little things here. That egg starts to crack. It starts to show cracks and it starts hatching. Okay, no egg hatches like this, just so you guys are wondering. I've never seen an egg hatch like this, but I'm not very good at this, so gotta give me a break here. But when the egg hatches, as soon as the egg hatches, we look at whatever it is that has hatched and we say, oh, that's this. We immediately define it. We immediately limit its existence to what we already know to be true, because humans work through a comparison basis. The only way humans can kind of exist in this world is we compare one thing to another thing. That's the whole thing of being human. We compare one thing to another thing and we decide if we like it or we hate it or what it is, okay? So humans need labels. It's kind of like a survival thing. So these beings work on talking about the unlimited potential that lies within us. And within you, Elizabeth, because I have felt your energy, and it feels like a proved egg. Yes, absolutely. And your energy, Elizabeth, to me, when I was connecting with you, let me go back up here. Okay, let me do this here. And let's zoom out. There we go. All right, so your energy, Elizabeth, when we're talking about this, to me is something where you have a lot of potential. And when I felt your energy, I did feel that potential. I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt. I I don't know why people would do that anyway. It sounds like a weird thing to do, to blow smoke up someone's ass. But hold on. I used to think the eyes were bad, but they're actually neutral, or neutral for me specifically. So a lot of times there's things that happen when we're younger, and we will perceive them as being bad or evil or this or that, right? And in reality, mostly everything is neutral. Everything is neutral from an observing standpoint. Nothing is really happening that's bad or good or this or that or whatever. And I can go into a story that kind of describes that if you guys want me to. We can do a little story time after I do Manju's reading. But for now, okay, silver eyes are about potentiality. That is what the silver eyes are about. And like I said, they present themselves as silver eyes so that you have something you can call them, okay? And that's easy to do. That's an easy thing to say. They're humanoid in shape. They just have silver eyes. So they have a standout feature, and then they're going to be easier for you to identify in the future. All right. So they chose you because I do believe, Elizabeth, that you have a profound healing ability, okay? And I haven't said this before because it wasn't really a reason to, right? I don't want you to get a big head about this, but I do feel like you have a profound healing ability. One that when you get it going, when you start your healing journey and you start doing your energy work, I do feel like people will really, really be able to tell a difference. They'll really be able to understand because your hands will have something in them. Your hands will have an energy that I feel like a lot of people have never felt before. And I mean that in a powerful way. So the way I would describe your energy in that state, the potential state that I'm talking about, that infinite potential state, it's this tremoring energy. It's this vibration, but it's moved in a way that it's like tremoring or trembling. And that makes it so that it shakes things up and it reorganizes things. There's this energy here that's almost like the earth moving. It's almost like little tremors, little quakes, if that makes any sense. It's like these little seismic waves would be the best way I can describe it. But there's healing there, okay? And I want you to remember this too. I feel like it's earth related, but I also feel, and this is interesting, right? My gut is inclined to believe you. Awesome, good. I'm glad. So I was going to say this too. So if we do this here, and your energy is earth energy, but here's something that's interesting. I found this out, maybe you've already known this, but if we take the word earth, okay, we have the word earth right there. What's really interesting is that if we rearrange the letters earth, right, we get heart. So you rearrange the letters in earth and you get heart. So what I feel here is that your ability to heal, your ability to be in that mind frame, I feel like you're going to be using earth energy, and earth energy is the heart. Earth energy is the heart. And that's something I want you to use going forward. There could be some potentiality where you could be a channel for these kinds of beings as well. But I feel like that's a little bit too distant in the future at this point in time. So we're going to focus more on, I do feel like it is meant to be something where we're focused more on you at this point in time, focusing on your healing abilities. And I feel like from that, it turns into other things. I do feel like the healing ability can turn into maybe trance mediumship or mediumship to start out with. And then from there, you can take your abilities and expand on them. But right now you're in a pretty big kind of learning phase, and I don't want you to try to rush that learning phase trying to get to the end, because you're going to be missing steps. I want you to focus on the journey, incorporate everything you're learning, and have that be what you use going forward. So does that make sense, Elizabeth? Okay. So they speak with you because they see potential. That's why they speak with you. And they do it in the way that communicates with you best. I do feel like they appear to other people in different ways. And I feel like with you, it's just the silver eyes. So, all right. So, was that a satisfactory answer for you, Elizabeth? Hopefully that helps. Awesome. Awesome, I'm glad. Okay. So, are you wanting to do some energy work here for just maybe 2 or 3 minutes? And then I'll go to Manju's reading? I know you're in the hospital, so you do kind of need it. Mercury in retrograde, guys. It's having a very hard time focusing. Hi, don't want to say your name wrong. Akinksha. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I don't know how to say that. Akinksha, hopefully. All right, focus on me. Come on. Okay, let's do that, Elizabeth. Let me put this up here. I know, it's having a hard time. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, welcome to the channel, Akinksha, and yeah. Okay, so let's do this, and hold on 1 second. All right, so we're going to be using this, and, well, I'm feeling like, okay, so I'm going to ask you this, Elizabeth. How's your head been feeling while you're during this process? Are you feeling pretty lightheaded? I remember you said you had the oxygen tank. I'm trying to focus on what would be the best thing to focus on here. And I feel like there's something here. I feel like there's something in the face or in the head. I feel like I'm blocked in some way. So I'm wondering if maybe you're feeling that too. These are all my little crystals I use. Basically, crystals, these right here, you can use as kind of like focal points or lasers for energy. Dizzy, yeah, I also got diagnosed with genetic diabetes and the insulin makes me woozy. Okay, that's what I was feeling. It was like a lightheadedness, something in the head. So let's focus on doing this here. Let's see. I actually just got my shot as I typed this. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. So we're coming in just in time, and we're going to be focusing on getting you feeling just a little bit better, okay? All right, so let's do these ones. Yeah, let's do these ones. All right, so I'm going to be using 3 stones for this. All right, so we're going to be using quartz. Okay. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you too. You've been helping support the channel, and I really appreciate that. So we have the quartz crystal here. This one is amethyst. Okay. And then we have this, which is moldavite. I'm going to be using these kind of in tandem. I'm just going to be putting my hands over them and just going to be focusing here. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to be doing some symbols. I do some Reiki work as well. The symbols help to kind of seal in the energy. So if you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. So let's start doing this here. All right. This will be about 2 or 3 minutes, and then Manju will go to your reading here. So give me just a second. I feel like I'm being shown, or I feel like I'm being told my shoulders need to relax, and so maybe that's true for you too, Elizabeth. Relaxing the shoulders. I feel like maybe there's some difficulty swallowing too. Nausea. I'm wondering if that's kind of a thing. Okay, I'm going to do some symbols here. That's what they call a Reiki sandwich. So I'm going to take that. I'm just going to be focusing energy. There we go. I started to feel something move. Okay. I feel like we need to relax our chest a little bit here. We need to just kind of breathe. We need to take the tightness out of our chest here. I'm wondering if there's anything with your ear too. My left ear was kind of acting interesting. Mm. Mm. Okay, Elizabeth, let's come back here. And let's focus. I'm just going to put these away. Thank you, crystals, for helping. How did that feel, Elizabeth? Good, good. I'm glad you felt movement. When I connected with you around the heart, it was like the throat, the heart, and the stomach. I felt this feeling of, it's like, and I feel like you have this enthusiasm for life. Awesome. Awesome. You saw symbols. Okay, perfect, perfect. We'll talk about that here. But I was feeling like there was this intense enthusiasm for life. I feel like there's a second lease on life for you. I feel like there's that enthusiasm. That's what I was feeling, and it was strong. Again, your energy is always strong, but it was this enthusiastic feeling. So I really liked that. Kind of a bit much for me, but for you, I'm sure it feels pretty good. What kind of symbols did you see when you closed your eyes? Okay. Have you looked into and a beetle in a triangle? Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. The symbols is new. I feel like I've had one other person say they've seen symbols, but that's really cool that you were able to see symbols and you were able to feel some things moving. And then you were in a box of sand. It sounds to me kind of like there's an Egyptian theme going on there. A little bit of an Egyptian theme. Makes me wonder. A redwood box and you were in sand. I like that. I like that. Sand is, well, we all know it's like particulates of the earth. It's like the earth. And sand would represent kind of a more digestible version of the earth, a more kind of easier to understand version of the earth. It's softer. It's not as harsh. Necessarily, I know desert sand, with the sun's on it, can be very harsh, but it usually is a softer substance. It's that kind of thing. You had your glasses off in the sand. Oh, okay. So, Elizabeth, as long as we're talking about this, the box was upright, if that matters. It could matter, but what did you feel energetically as we were doing that exercise? You said you felt movement. Can you kind of describe that? Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. That's good. That's awesome. And that energy will help you moving forward too. Absolutely. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to have. I'm feeling like with you, the energy is going to feel like it's going to feel like there's a palm on it holding it. And that's my guides. That's my guides coming there, and they're doing some energy work as we're talking. They usually like to go to the location. I've been doing this for a while, and a lot of people can report their eyes being closed and they'll see shadows moving back and forth, and it's my guides doing their work. That's kind of how they present themselves. They can be like shadows, but it's not a negative force at all. It's this really kind of positive force, and they're just sort of saying, hi, we're here. But yeah. But I do feel like for you, the energy is going to feel like it's dissolving whatever's moving there. So it's going to move blocks, but it's also going to dissolve some things, which is going to help you moving forward. The dissolving for me is what I'm feeling as we're talking about this, or like a bubbling up of energy or a dissolving, right? So that's what I'm feeling there. So let them work the way they need to, and that should help you kind of overall feel better. Yes, it does feel like that. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So that's just what I was feeling as we were connecting. So that's perfect. Awesome. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of do this here. So I feel that I can feel that there's that feeling in you. It's almost like the way I would describe it is it feels like, and this is going to sound really weird. It's the only thing I can think to compare to though, is it feels like I'm connecting with SpongeBob. And SpongeBob has that enthusiasm, right? He has that enthusiasm for life. He's always ready to go. And that's kind of what I was feeling. I know that sounds goofy. I know that how that sounds, but that's kind of the energy I was feeling when I was focusing on your energy There's a lot there. There's a lot of good energy. There's a lot of positivity there. So yeah, so I think you understand where I'm going with that. Just the enthusiasm that he has for life, and I'm feeling like you're someone who can be very, very enthusiastic, and I feel like that's good. I feel like that's a really good quality and good trait to have. Okay, so, and we can talk a little bit more, Elizabeth. Well, I'm gonna see. Manju, are you there? I'm sorry, I know it was a minute, but you don't have to type your question again. You don't have to type your question again if you're there. I will just answer you, but I'll wait until you come in here and let me know that you're here, Manju, okay? So let me know when you're here. Because I want to focus on Manju if she is here. I know I tend to take my time with people, and I'll give you a second, Manju, to come in here. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So let's talk about this. So you're wanting to cut cords, right? So let's go into this. And I saw your message, Elizabeth. The house symbol was interesting for sure, though. It was very vivid. That's sometimes my guides work in different ways. The symbols is interesting, though, probably because of the silver eyes that we've been talking about. All right, Elizabeth, you take care. I'm probably not going to be on for too much longer, but I might stay on until 11, another 40 minutes or so. We'll just have to see. But let's do this for Manju. And so, all right, my friend, we're talking about cutting cords. We're talking about cutting cords, and we're talking about what we can do to kind of expedite the process, right? You're very welcome, Elizabeth. Drink plenty of liquids, and I'm going to say this right here. If you're having trouble keeping things down, I want you to send energy to your throat. I'm feeling like my throat was spasming a little bit, so if there's anything with your throat, just send energy there. You can heal yourself as well, so send energy to your throat if you can, if you feel like that's something you need to do, just as an option. Okay, so, all right. So when we're talking about cutting cords, Manju, I need to understand a little bit more of the context. For instance, you say when you see them, you feel drained. How often do you see them? How often do you see your ex? I know it probably sounds like it shouldn't matter, but I'm just curious here. I'm curious in what context you see them and how often, basically. Okay. All right. We'll go into, let me see here. Almost every month, sometimes consecutively. Okay, so when we're talking about that, yes, they can absolutely kind of trigger us, and there is a sense of feeling drained. I can understand that. Even when I'm not thinking about him. Okay, so you're not meeting him in like a situation where you two are brought together on purpose. It's kind of like you guys just run into each other. Am I correct in saying that? It's sort of like you guys just sort of run into each other. Okay, so if that's the situation, then we're wanting to absolutely expedite the process. And the way we can do that, the best way we can do that is, the first way is visualizing, right, and cutting the cords, which I'm sure you've already done because it sounds like that's something that you've been doing. The second thing we can do, though, is kind of like establishing, let's see. Oh, okay, it's always him trying to reach me, come close and asking me to return, and I don't want to. We got divorced. Have you tried telling him that you don't want anything to do with him? Have you tried being very firm with him and sort of saying, I don't want to see you. I don't want you to reach out to me. If that's the case there, I feel like possibly having firmer boundaries would be good too, because that shouldn't be something, you shouldn't be harassed, right? That should be something that, I'm sorry you're dealing with that too. That sounds awful. But it sounds to me like, I mean, it's his doing. It's him trying to reach out. It's him trying to do something. So, and I imagine you got divorced for a very good reason, and he probably doesn't see it as such a good reason. Thank you. Let's see, Akanksha. If you would want, okay, and I can't do, if you want to do another 650 of that currency, that would be about $10, and that's usually what I charge for a question. So I appreciate the 100 that you put up there. I do appreciate that very much, but I usually charge about another 650 for a question. I'm just letting you know. And if for some reason you're not able to do that, I am sorry. I wish I could do refunds on here. I can't. I cannot do refunds. But thank you for the kindness there. Okay. We have not spoken after the divorce. There was no question to reconnect. Okay. Okay. All right. So can you tell me, Manju, can you tell me what have you done? What do you feel like you've done on your end to get this person out of your mind? What do you feel like you've done? Because if I know what you've done, then we can focus on new avenues that we can go into. That's kind of a big question, I know, so. Okay. Hopefully that works for you, Akanksha. I know, I should clarify, my prices are right here, but I don't always put them up because they are kind of, but I'll leave them up for the time being. But thank you for understanding, Kingsha. I appreciate that. I'll get people that get angry sometimes. It's rare, but it does happen. Okay. I don't know much, but I have prayed, meditated to release his thoughts, did guided meditation twice or thrice, but maybe I was not very sure if that would work. Okay, so something we can do moving forward is we can cut an energetic cord, right? And we can visualize a cord connecting the two of you together, and then you're like severing it. That can be something that you do, and you're going to do that kind of repeatedly. That's going to be something that helps to sort of release it. Usually I would say we do it once and then it's good, but I understand with these kinds of connections, it feels like more has to be done. It feels like there has to be a ritual to it. So we need to do something where we're cutting the energy ties or the energetic ties. I'm going to do this here. There we go. So when we're cutting these energetic ties, the one thing we have to focus on is that we're not wanting the connection anymore. We're getting rid of it. We're casting it to the side. Okay? And the other thing that we can do is we can take the energy that this person, maybe there's thoughts, maybe there's this feeling of like this person's kind of in our head, right? We can do some things to protect ourselves even further. We are very close in the area where we work, but in diff companies, so I've seen each other once. Okay, I can understand that. All right, so in this kind of situation, I feel like the best thing to do is, first off, I feel like if we do see this person, we just walk right by, we don't say anything, we don't do anything. And I know that could be kind of traumatic, but we need to make it so that this person in our life doesn't hold so much power over us. And in whatever way we can do that, that's going to help us in the long run. So if we can do something where we realize that we're the ones in charge of our own life, because we are, and this person is kind of in the background, they are in the background, then we can sort of take power in that. We can sort of take that to that level. I feel like there's a feeling where I feel like we're telling ourselves that it's going to be difficult to do this, and I feel like all we have to do is set boundaries. We have to set firmer boundaries. We have to say, for instance, let me give this as a for instance. The universe does not want there to be an empty space. So what you need to do is everything that you would want in a person, I would want you to write that down. Every quality that you would want in a person, I would want you to write that down. And if it's completely opposite of how he was, that's okay. I mean, I want you to write that down, because then we can focus on getting rid of the energy that he sort of put in there. We're sort of taking the energy and we're putting out another energy, and we're sort of canceling out his vibe. We're trying to do something like that. So if we do something where we are writing down what we would want in a possible ideal partner, it makes it so that the universe, instead of constantly having you think about him or having you think about something else, the universe is like, oh, we're on to something new. We're wanting to try something new. Even if you're not necessarily wanting to date or do something at this point in time, having something like, what is it that you like? What is it that you like or you would want to have in a person? What is that? What would be the thing that would make you feel like that would be okay, right? Having someone treat you with basic respect is a really good one. Having someone ask you your opinion on things, having someone be kind and caring, that's also a good one. Basically, having an open individual would be good. But right now, what we're doing is we're focusing on how he's made us feel in the past, which is not good. And we're sort of putting more of that out there. So we need to kind of balance it out. And we need to focus on things in a more, in a way where we're canceling it out, like I said. So things that he did that were awful, what would be the opposite of those awful things? He's paying attention now, or he's, basically we're trying to attract a more ideal partner, but and when he says dreams are hard to tame, it could be more about how connections are to certain feelings and what you associated to them. Replacements are usually in order. Absolutely. So that's what we're talking about is replacing something with something else. Nature does not like a vacuum. And what I mean by that is when something leaves, another thing is going to fill its place. But in this situation, you've left enough space for this person to come in, maybe not consciously, but it's something that where this person has come in and they've sort of made a home there. So we can cut ties, we can do that kind of stuff. But the visualizing is going to help. But Anmei is right. Dreams are harder to tame. Usually dreams reach a resolution once we've figured out why we're having them in the first place. So it could be that you don't like your ex-husband, you're divorced from them, but maybe there's certain qualities that they have that you would want, right? And we could be dreaming about that person because they possess something that we don't have, and maybe there could be an inferiority thing there. There can be several reasons why we feel these things, but none of them are bad, and I don't want you to feel bad or anything like that. But doing like a daily mantra of what you would want in your life besides having him be a reminder, that's going to help. Saying what you want to happen in your life, focusing on that is going to help you a lot. But the energy cutting cord, the cutting energetic cords is going to be something that is going to be helpful, is going to be very helpful in this. It won't happen all at once, but eventually it gets easier and easier to sort of get rid of the toxic connection, because you don't want to reconcile. And I think that's awesome. You know what you want. You definitely know you don't want him. So we have to focus a little bit more and find out what it is you really do want. So I say humans learn through comparison. So you learned what you didn't want through him. So what would you want from a partner, or what would you want from someone? That's going to be how we can sort of fill in that gap. That's going to be something we can do. Does that make sense, Manju? We can do a little bit, a teeny bit of energy work if you would want, and that might be able to help things sort of move along in a way, because I feel like you're someone who you are trying. I do feel like you're trying, and I feel like you're doing as much as you can, but there could be some blocks there that maybe are a little bit harder to remove on your own, right? And so me and my guides can come in there and help. So we could do like 2 or 3 minutes. That'll just come in with the price of what you paid before. So it won't be a long energetic session, but it'll be enough to sort of hopefully help move things. Okay, so let's do that. Let's focus on moving the energy. And another thing that I want you to have, Manju, is I want you to not, when we move forward, the more fear energy that we put into seeing this person or having an interaction with this person, the stronger that's going to build. And I want you to sort of diffuse that situation as much as you can, because if we're feeding it this fear energy, it becomes more subconscious. The more subconscious it is, because we're scared of it and we're scared to look at it, that could be another reason why we're having dreams. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's focus on doing some energy work. And let's see what we can come up with here. All right. So when we're working on fear, when we're working on resolving fear, we're going to focus on kind of the opposite, the polar opposite of fear, which is love energy. That's kind of the polar opposite of love, or of fear, of hate, of those kinds of emotions. So let's focus on that. And I'm just going to be I'm just going to be using my Moldavite here. Camera's having a hard time picking it up, but we're going to use the Moldavite here. And then we're going to connect, and I'm going to see. I have a hard time getting comfortable in this chair, if you guys can't tell. Let's see what we can do here. All right. Noted. There are rearrangements that can be taken, but that needs some work through, but more above feelings. Okay, let's do this here. Let's focus. Okay. Okay, Manju. So we focused on cutting ties. We focused on cutting the ties. Um, that was interesting. There's still, and I feel like we cut through it. We cut through most of it. Um, there was still a feeling of connection there. That's why the chords were there. You know, that's kind of the whole thing. When we connect with someone, it's kind of like it's a quantum physics thing. And what I mean by that is when we connect with people, sometimes we become entangled in their kind of world. And so cutting the cord makes it so that we're no longer quantumly entangled with them. And quantum entanglement is whatever happens to one person at one end or one atom at one end happens to the other one, right? Hi, Krishna Tattva. So I generally charge for my questions. It's about $10 a question. But with career questions, they aren't necessarily my forte. I appreciate you coming to the channel, but I don't know if I would be the best for answering that particular question. Just letting you know. Hopefully you get it figured out, though. My breathing was heavy and pulse increased. I was yawning. Okay, perfect. So I can kind of I get excited, right? So when we yawn, when we're doing energetic work or when we're in that process, the yawning helps to release excess energy. Your body's trying to get rid of that excess energy. When I do mediumship and spirit starts coming close with me, the first thing that they do, or they have done, is I start yawning like profusely. I yawn in a way that's like one yawn after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's spirit's way of trying to alleviate my energy. It's spirit's way of trying to clear my energy. So that's a good sign. The yawning is a good sign. There are mediums out there that burp too. They constantly burp when they're doing a reading. And that sounds, kind of uncomfortable, but it's sometimes how spirit likes to communicate is through these mediums. And when we burp or we yawn, it's releasing excess energy. Kind of a cool little tidbit there. So you were experiencing energy. That's good. That's a good thing that it came through like that. And your breathing being heavy, hopefully that means you were in a more relaxed state, even though your pulse was increased. It's sort of like my guides do like to work in that state. And generally we can get people into a more relaxed state fairly quickly. It just depends kind of on the circumstance, but generally we're pretty good at getting people in a relaxed state. Yawning and tears. Yep. The tears are there too. Absolutely. And both at the same time. I've had that where I'm yawning and there's like tears running down my face. Spirit will connect sometimes through that way. There's some mediums that connect and they start crying and they're not even aware that they're crying. Like there's tears falling down their face, but they can't like feel it, or they can't like it just comes out. Like they're not crying necessarily, but there's tears. And so it's kind of like this feeling, and there can be an uplifting feeling too, a feeling of happiness, but it's usually a strong energetic yawn, as weird as that sounds. So hopefully that kind of gives you insight into the process, Manju. I don't think we've connected that way before that I'm aware of, but maybe we have. I do tend to like to do energy work, so maybe we have done that, something like that before. But that should help a little bit with the symptoms. Anmei also said, look at how your reaction is. Well, basically, looking at your states toward things, that's good too. Being the observer of your thoughts is a very good way to look at how we feel about things. Moving forward, absolutely. But as we, yeah, so tell me, Manju, kind of, with you had the yawning and the tears, how are you feeling now? How are you feeling now? Are you feeling okay? Oh, that's right. Okay. We have done that before. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me now. Okay. Um, yeah, and if I can remember correctly, I feel like that helped at that time too. This was more, we were focusing more on emotional or mental kind of things. And so that's sort of where we were at. And hopefully this helps sort of get you in a state where things are shaken up and we can start to see things in a little bit of a different way. Because it's good to shake things up. It's good to run energy. It's good to shake things up so that we can see things in a different way. Let yourself. See, now I'm gonna start yawning. That's not an energetic yawn for me. I'm getting a little sleepy, but let yourself keep yawning. Let yourself kind of go through that process. Um, but yeah, that should help feel lighter. And focus on that feeling, that lighter feeling when you yawn. If you want to use that as kind of like an energetic expression to put energy back in your body, you can use that too as you're going through the yawning process. Focus on imagining like it's kind of like chains or blocks being broken and torn apart. I want you to focus on like something being ripped, right? And it's that cord that we're talking about. So that should help. That should definitely help moving forward. So thank you for working with me. I appreciate that because I feel like it takes courage to say, yeah, I'll do some energy work because it's not necessarily a fun process for some people. So at least for you, it was a good process. It's always good, but sometimes it's not fun. I've worked with people where it was kind of like a crisis situation and they felt it was just a whole process. It was not a good time for them. Eventually it broke and they felt better, but they were going through a time. And so it can help, but sometimes it puts things to the limit, it breaks them, and then there's the healing. Then something happens from that. So that's kind of how my energy tends to work. Yes, it is, Manju. It absolutely is high time. 100%. And you're very welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, and you've always been very sweet and kind, and you were very patient with me. You know I take my time with people, and you weren't trying to rush me, and I appreciate that. I need to be better with management, but yeah, I just appreciate that. You always come on here, and I'm never like, I'm always happy to see you. So, yeah. I'm thinking though that I'm gonna log off for the night. I do appreciate you guys coming on here and helping to support the channel. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be doing this if that wasn't the case, but I think I am going to be taken off here. So yeah, thank you, Manju, for working with me, and everyone else watching. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I will be on here again on Friday, so be on the lookout for that, and I will talk to you guys then, okay? Everybody take care, and I will see you guys later. Ta-ta, toodaloo, and good night. I will, Manju. I'll take very good care of myself. You too. Both of us need to take care of ourselves. Let's